Okay, so this right here is Luffy arriving at Thriller Bark, and of course the moment this man arrived here, you knew war crimes were going to be committed. It was really just a matter of how much chaos would be caused on his way through and when would he get to his destination. It's like, you know, you're out and about, you're drinking a little too much, you get behind the wheel of a car, you're just hoping to get somewhat close to where you're trying to get without causing too much destruction along the way. Now, the thing is, even if you cause a lot of destruction, you probably won't remember it. The issue is, with this particular arc, I remember everything that happened and I'm going to talk about it. Actually, I'm going to talk about a few key moments.
Why are you running?
Because at the time of making this video, I'm at episode 374. Actually, no, 375, because I watched 374. Now, I will be giving out awards for the truly impressive to disturbing to just strange things I've seen so far in this arc.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And the first award I will be giving out is the award for disturbing the hell out of me. Now, coming in third place for disturbing the hell out of me is, actually, I'm not sure who, because looking at my notes for third, second, and first place, I just wrote Diddy, which, that is not specific enough. Yeah, that was a mistake. I genuinely don't know what I was thinking. I am pretty sure, actually, I'm not that confident, but for third place, I have this Diddy, which, is, I guess, the primary Diddy. I mean, like, he was kind of the first Diddy of this arc. This guy comes in at third place, and you might be like, wait, he only takes third place? Yeah, no, he has some steep competition. But of course, here are some of his highlights. Because yes, he disturbs the hell out of me. Now, the first thing he did was lick Robin in a very sus way. It only gets worse and worse because then he spied on Nami. And if that's not bad enough, he got a little too handsy and I think he also licked her as well.
Stop it. Get some help.
But if that's not bad enough, this man, this freak, I don't even know if he's a man because he's got like a lion's face, which is a mistake. I will say he got the better end of that deal. I mean, to be fair, the deal was horrible for both sides. It's one of those deals where everyone loses, including me, because I have to look at both of them. The lion who got his face definitely got the worst end of the deal. Like, what is that? What is that?
This is the worst.
But no, then he follows it up from the Bill Cosby school of roofies or whatever he did to Nami because he knocks her out. And in that time where she's knocked out, he takes it upon himself to be like, okay, let's have a wedding ceremony. We are getting married. And he has to go through like all the proper procedures, right? And I'm just watching this like, I'm not a legal expert. Like I barely know the laws of where I currently live. And the government likes to remind me of that all the time. But regardless, I definitely don't know the laws of the One Piece world. Because like, how do I know if Luffy is committing war crimes if there aren't like actual laws around war crimes? Diddy number one here, I'm pretty sure though, this is against the law. It's not legally binding. And if it is, we got problems. We got deep-rooted problems, which when Luffy becomes king of the pirates, this has to be on the list, right? Make it so that somebody who's knocked out can't be forced into a marriage. I think that's pretty reasonable. But anyway, this actually leads up into our second place recipient of disturbs the hell out of me, because we have Diddy number 2, which I know exactly who this is, actually. And this one was arguably the biggest letdown, because Diddy number 2 didn't technically do as bad things as Diddy number 1, but the fact is Diddy number 2 was Sanji. So while I don't have like the highest expectations of Sanji, my expectations are don't disturb the hell out of me, because what does this man do? Well, he shows up and he's like, oh, I'm gonna save Nami. Good work. You could have left it at that. You could have just fought Diddy number 1, saved Nami, and gotten out of there with your reputation intact. But for whatever reason, this man, he's like, oh, I'm gonna share all the sick and twisted thoughts in my mind.
You need to leave!
I don't even really want to get into it. Sanji let me down. I'm not sure if his reputation will ever fully recover. I can excuse a little bit of perviness here and there. You know what? I'm not even going to finish that thought. But now in first place for disturbing the hell out of me, taking the grand prize, is once again Diddy. Again, it was definitely a mistake to just write Diddy 3 times. Like, I would assume Diddy would also be 4th place. I don't even know who was 4th place. I didn't go that far. But regardless, I do actually know who I'm talking about because he definitely disturbed the hell out of me. It's this freak right here, Dr. Hogback. And before anyone thinks it, no, I'm not talking about the way he dresses or stuff like that. You do you. Him being a freak has nothing to do with the way he dresses, because I even know I have some pretty suspect fashion, right? I've worn outfits at points where if they aren't breaking any sort of laws, you need to make new laws. It's not about the way he dresses, or necessarily even the way he looks, or that laugh of his that pisses me off every time he does it. I know people were saying it's iconic. I don't care.
Enough from the clown.
Because the thing that truly makes him the recipient of Disturbing the Hell Out of Me award was what he did to poor Sindri here, who I genuinely still feel sorry for. And the thing is, I really liked Sindri as a character. I could tell we were kindred spirits. Now, to be fair, I am talking about the zombie version of her, which was just like shockingly brutal. One of my favorite moments of this entire arc was Sindri when she looked at Hogback when she was like, I would like to smash your kneecaps like plates. I don't know about you, but that's my kind of woman. Apparently, she was also Hogback's kind of woman. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing myself to that freak, but like what he did is just inexcusable because the whole reason he joined freak number 1, OG freak, Moria here, was because Moria came along and he was like, I want you to join me, reanimate a lot of corpses, and like, we'll take over the world. I could have excused him if he was just evil and he was like, I just want to take over the world. Sure, you be you. But the thing is, he was like, I want to join you so I could dig up the corpse of this woman who rejected me. I don't even know if she technically rejected him because she technically was just dating someone else. Like, I don't even know if he officially axed her or anything like that. This man is just a clown, but he digs up her corpse, reanimates it, and then, like, I don't know what kind of sick stuff he did over the years. I do know one thing he did, well, aside from, like, this is his room. Do I even need to say more? If you go to anyone's place and their room looks like this, call the authorities, like every single authority you can dial up in that moment. But the moment that really put it over the top, and the reason why he is the recipient of Disturbing the Hell Out of Me award, was because mid-fight with Chopper, he's like, hey, Sindri, yeah, get down on your knees and start licking the floor.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
So yeah, he takes the award. Here you have the recipient for Disturbs the Hell Out of Me award. But now let's move on to a more positive award. Impress the hell out of me. Now my notes on this actually make sense, but coming in at 3rd for impressing the hell out of me is none other than Nightmare Luffy. Now you might be like, wait, why is he only 3rd? Because Nightmare Luffy was definitely a highlight of this arc. But although his life was short-lived, he left an impression. Mostly on Moria and Orz's face, but why is he only 3rd? Because it was truly impressive, don't get me wrong. But here's the thing, the way he became Nightmare Luffy disturbs me. Because essentially you had this war criminal running around the forest looking for someone to beat up. He runs into some homeless people, and the worst part about this is that they inject him with some experimental drugs. Now people will say, no, it's actually shadows, but I think we kind of know what Oda was getting at with shadows, am I right? Like, hey, you want some shadowy stuff? What if someone actually said that to you? What the flip would you think that they were talking about? Drugs, I assume, actually. They clearly shot him up with a bunch of experimental drugs, not FDA approved. Now again, this time it worked out, but the worst part about shooting him up with all these drugs was watching it actually happen, because again, it was a violation. Both for Luffy, like, look at this man, he's not having a good time, but also for me. But regardless, Nightmare Luffy, perfect. Just perfect. One of my favorite Luffys. He doesn't reach quite the heights of Small Luffy, which I know sounds kind of idiotic to say. But again, Small Luffy for King of the Pirates, if he doesn't give speeches as Small Luffy as King of the Pirates, what is even the point of becoming King of the Pirates?
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
But yeah, Nightmare Luffy definitely committed war crimes against a lot of people, primarily Oars and Moria. It was glorious to watch. But that came in at 3rd as far as impressiveness. So what came in at 2nd? Well, looking at my notes, and I know this is going to sound bad, but this is what I wrote. Luffy's animal abuse comes in at second, which, I know that sounds bad, and it is, but hear me out for a second, because, like, sure, we can agree animal abuse is bad, right? Like, sure, people accused me at certain points of hating on, like, random animals, particularly birds, which again is definitely slanderous. I just hate on particular birds, it's not about all birds, but, like, I have been trying to fight against Luffy's animal abuse this entire series. He can't help himself. He's going around fighting every animal he can. Like, I kind of knew war crimes would be committed the moment he showed up, but again, I didn't expect it to be so impressive. But like, when Luffy showed up at whatever this thing is supposed to be, I know it's supposed to be Cerberus, but like, if you're gonna make Cerberus, at least get 3 dog heads. Even if you have to kill a dog, you gotta get the 3 dog heads. Otherwise, like, what are we doing here? This is just clown behavior. And the moment this man walks up to Cerberus, this monkey man gets excited and licks his lips. And I was like, what are you gonna do to this poor creature? Because if that's not bad enough, then he starts barking at this creature, and it was so disturbing that it was actually impressive. That's why it comes on the list. Like, sure, he then knocks out this creature, and then of course there's arguably more animal abuse with like the unicorn thing. Anyway, none of it matters though, because that came in at number 2. So like, what is the most impressive thing I've seen lately in One Piece? Well, Usopp versus Perona. It was honestly one of the better fights I've seen so far in this series. And the thing about it that was so impressive was the way Usopp was able to weaponize his negativity, his toxicity. He was like your average Twitter user, but instead of letting the negativity get to him, he was the one spreading like the vast majority of the negativity. And if anything, he was only getting stronger. Like Perona, whose powers are supposed to be pure negativity, was completely ineffective against the toxicity of this man. And there's something so impressive about that. Whatever he had to do to get to this point, that's the truly impressive part. He spent years and years and years just being so utterly negative that if he ever came across this exact situation, he would become the most valuable person in the world. But yeah, on top of all the negativity, I think arguably the most impressive part about this was the way he was able to utterly terrify Perona. Like, it was so sick and twisted, it was actually impressive. But regardless, Usopp here, he wins my first ever Impresses the Hell Out of Me award. Now next up I have Confusing the Hell Out of Me. The runner-up was a Warlord of the Sea, Bartholomew Kuma, showing up. I mean, I'm still kind of confused why he's here. People have hinted like he's kind of important for some stuff that's about to happen. It's still kind of confused the hell out of me because there's just so much about him, like Tyrant Kuma, but then the man is so chill. He also was like, hey, Perona, where would you like to go? And then he's made her disappear. I'm assuming he sent her there. I don't know. He's still kind of confusing. I don't even know if I really need to explain any further. But yeah, confusing the hell out of me the most was once again Usopp. Usopp wins this award as well. Well, I just wrote Usopp becoming immune to bombs, which again, like in his fight against Perona, one of the things that still confuses me is the fact that Perona was setting off all of these little ghost bombs, right? And you think like, okay, they're not that bad. But then you actually get to witness her use them on something that's not a human, not Usopp. And one of these things destroys solid stone. So it's like, yeah, Usopp is done for, right? No, because for whatever reason, he became immune to bombs. Like, sure, they hurt him like a little bit, but then even like, 10 minutes later, he was perfectly fine. But the thing is, she landed so many on him. Like, there were about 50 of them go off. He even got beat up by a cocaine bear. This isn't really even that much about the bombs. It's really just about Usopp's durability. Like I don't know. None of that really matters. It's all to say, it still kind of confuses me. Like, how did this man survive? Who knows? But next up, we have a more somber thing. Making Me Sad award, or saddening the hell out of me. But the runner-up for this award is also dealing with Perona. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw Perona, I was wondering like, what kind of cocaine is she on? Her and her stuffed animal bear were definitely sharing a bunch of coke. But regardless, I didn't think I would like Perona. She was sick, she was twisted, she was mean. And yet by the end of her fight with Usopp, I was like, can she join the crew? Like, please. So when this guy here sent her away, now he probably sent her to a nice place, but when he sent her away, he also sent away my hopes that she would join the crew. Like, sure, was it a pipe dream or just pure insanity? Like, yeah, I knew she wasn't going to join the crew, but there was always a little bit of hope. Because again, like one of the dumbest theories I have is that we need to collect almost every different hair color out there, right? Like when you think about it, Like, Vivi would have been a good option with the blue hair, right? But, she did not join, which is still a little saddening. I'm not gonna lie, Vivi was pretty great. Frankie joined, which, you know, instead of getting like a strong princess character, we get a pervert. We already had a pervert. Okay, to be fair though, I have come around on Frankie, or I'm still coming around on Frankie. Regardless, we need to collect all the different hair colors, and Perona's pink hair would have been perfect. But she didn't win the award for saddening me, which now I'm starting to wonder. But no, the thing that saddened me the most was also related to her because it was her cocaine bear dying. I love that bear. Maybe not as much as he liked cocaine, but I love that bear.
I love cocaine!
Like, Usopp, why did you have to kill him? Certainly, anyway, it doesn't matter. But if we could have gotten them as a package deal, that would have been great. But regardless, moving on to the next award, we have Dumbest Character Award. And the thing is, both the runner-up and the main recipient are the same person, so you know that they're really dumb. Gecko Moria, if he wasn't like sick and twisted already, the fact is he's just an idiot. And you might be like, he really committed the dumbest thing? Okay, no, let me explain. Because the second dumbest thing is, Moria seemed to be cooking up a pretty good plan, right? Like, all things considered, you're in a bad situation. You got a war criminal and his crew on your ship, right? Bad situation. But all things considered, it was working out. He was avoiding Luffy. But then, this man here shows up, and he's like, I was sent by the world government because they kind of assumed Straw Hat Luffy would come through here, and like, everyone thinks you're not strong enough to beat him, so don't fight him. And this clown here is just like, I'm gonna go out and fight him. We all know how that ended. Not well at all. But he did something infinitely more idiotic that actually kicked off this entire sequence of events. The fact is, when we really think about it, like the dumbest thing you could possibly do, arguably one of the dumbest things I've seen in all of One Piece, is the fact is, this man here was like, oh yeah, Straw Hat Luffy, I'm gonna willingly invite him to my ship, trap him here, so he could commit war crimes, and then after he commits his war crimes, after he destroys my entire ship, I'll complain to him for destroying my entire ship. Not to mention giving him the worst beating of his life. Actually, no, correction. Giving him the second worst beating of his life, because then Moria would get up again, he would consume a lot of drugs, way too many, the experimental kind, so, you know, we don't know about the side effects, but they weren't good, because then after getting the second worst beating of his life, he would then get the worst beating of his life by the same guy. But regardless, this then goes into the final award, and really I only have one person in consideration, because it's of course an award for the biggest menace, and who's gonna win? Well, obviously, it's gonna be this guy. Like, I've talked about all the war crimes, I've talked about the animal abuse, I've talked about it all, but there are a lot of sick people in this place, and somehow he still takes the cake as far as biggest menace. But those are my awards for Thriller Bark so far. If you like this kind of video and you want to see more of these, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.